A lot of people don't actually need more software. They don't need new tools, new apps, and anything new and funky. Sometimes they're already sitting on, and you might be sitting on, everything you need to supercharge your work. For all the subscriptions and software tools that you use, you probably only use a really tiny fraction of the features available. True, a lot of the other ones you don't use might just be noise, but I bet there's a lot that will have a lot of value for you. In this video, I want to explore how I would go about uncovering that value within your company and the systems you use. Step one is to find someone in the team to be the leader or champion, not too keen on that word, but be the leader for this little mini internal project. This someone could actually be you, that's absolutely fine. It could be somebody else, but it's got to be an elected person who's going to take charge of it. Having it by committee, I think it's going to prove really quite difficult. Whoever it is though needs to be quite keen on the idea and on board with making the most out of software. This person doesn't need to be super technical, but they've got to have some interest in the topic and some kind of general aptitude for this sort of techie stuff. They don't have to be a full developer or systems expert, but they've got to have the interest. So whoever you've elected to be the leader for this mini project, the next thing they should be doing is watching some videos. Now, this seems like a bit of a cop-out answer, but a lot of the time software vendors publish videos on the likes of YouTube. Maybe they publish them on their own site, and sometimes they put some real effort into making these training videos. I'm guilty of this too, and a lot of people are, of just not putting some time aside to look through them. And it doesn't have to be a huge time investment. I'm not talking about spending weeks going through training courses, but just a focused hour a day, maybe for a week, just to get up to speed and a bit of inspiration about some of your tools and what they can really do. I've certainly had it before where I've used a piece of software and I've looked through the training library and watched like a 7-minute video that I didn't know was there, and there's all this amazing stuff the product can do that's actually a massive benefit to me. But yeah, I just never knew that it existed or that it was a thing. Next, for the products that you use that are maybe larger or they cover more of your operations, or maybe they're more expensive, but the more important tools that you use, it's worth checking if they've got a customer success or onboarding team that you can reach out to and speak to. A lot of companies will give you a bit of free time to speak to a member of their team. Others will do a lot for free. Others will do, again, a little bit in the beginning and then charge for additional advice and support, which might be something you want to invest in. But the bigger companies fundamentally have this team called customer success that are there so that you get the most out of the product. They are here solely to solve the problem we're discussing today of getting the most from existing tools. They want to keep you as a customer for the long term. They want to show you all the great stuff it can do, and particularly in your context. They'll know the tool inside and out, and if you can explain to them what you're trying to achieve with it and maybe what some of your blockers are, they might have some really clever ways to get past that, or maybe not so clever. Maybe there's some standard things the software already does and they can enlighten you about it. But having that conversation, an hours of their time can save hours and hours reading through documentation and kind of fumbling in the dark. Now, through the training videos and speaking to the customer success team, you may have already come across this, but a real focal point for getting the most from your tools is actually through integrations. And integrations is just getting software here to speak to this different piece of software over here. So it could be, for example, your CRM speaking to your accountancy software to generate an invoice or mark something as paid. Or it could be that when a new contact fills out your lead form on your website, they automatically get created in the CRM. They're quite simple examples. Integrations can get much more complex, but they can be huge time savers. And the time saving, it's not always massive, kind of in the small examples, but when you can save 10 small chunks of time over to 10 team members, that ends up being a lot of time won back in the business. And also it just reduces admin and mental workload on you and your team. So integrations are a great thing to look at. Now, the downside with some integrations is that they can be quite complicated to set up. Not all the time, but some of them are lacking a little bit in their guidelines. Again, training videos customer success teams can certainly help. Another thing to look at with integrations is a tool called Zapier. Now, it might be something you've heard of before. It's quite a popular product. Yeah, it's certainly got some kind of traction online, and some of the tools you use might actually mention Zapier as an integration source or partner with them. Now, what Zapier allows you to do is it acts as the middleman to collect your tools together. So before we said with an integration, you've got software A and software B that can speak to one another. Now, speaking to one another requires a lot of code and work to be set up to facilitate that. And there are hundreds and thousands of applications out there. But Zapier will sit in the middle, and even if traditionally A and B can't speak to each other, the middleman can connect the dots for you. It's worth checking out their website and just doing a brief run through and maybe look at an intro video about the product and what it can do. But that is a good way to connect some of your tools together. So to summarize the steps, pick someone in your team to lead this, get them to watch some training videos for the core tools that you use, then start to look out to reach to customer success teams and speak to them. And finally, as the more advanced step, start looking at integrations and how you might get your systems talking to one another. Now, if you want some hands-on help from getting the most out of your software, please do check the link in this description. It'll take you to the landing page for my Quick Wins Roadmap. With the Quick Wins Roadmap, I can dig into your existing systems, how you operate, and give some solid recommendations on where you might be able to get more from them, as well as what other systems and software could give a high return for your business.